Welcome to another week of Celtic Chalk Talk. This week we'll talk about a few things about the Celtics. My name's Steve Purciello, been a Celtic fan forever since the Bill Russell days, could tell stories, and in fact we're going to in the future. But before I begin, I want to just talk about something. This Peach Basket Network is a group of fans. We are all basketball fans. We're not affiliated with a team. We're not affiliated with anything, but we like to talk about either things we like in teams or the league. I have a couple pods on this, as do other people. And I must say, some of the pods are outstanding. And I really suggest you look into the peachbasket.net and pick out a pod you might like. You're going to be surprised. We're good. I would suggest you subscribe and you get involved because it's a good thing that we do. Now, before I begin, I'm just going to make this statement. In the future, because after Summer League's over, things kind of quiet down. Unless the Celtics do something major, I am going to spend the next couple weeks till, I guess, training camp talking about the top 10 Celtics I believe are all time. Now, just keep in mind, I'll start with number 10 in 2 weeks and go work down. But keep in mind, I have seen it all. Not Bob. I saw a little bit of Bob Cousy. I was a little boy, 10, 11 years old when he retired. I remember watching it on TV when he did retire and the person yelling from the stands, "We love you, Bob." But we love you, Cousy, rather. But I go way back. My point being that I will name what I believe in the top 10, and I'll give some memories, and I'll talk a little bit of stats, but each week I'll pick 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and right on down through. And it's fun. It's fun to look at that, and I look at it from a different perspective than a lot of people because I've seen a lot of it. And I'll talk about the television and everything else and how that's played an impact in the last 20, 30 years compared to going back into the 60s. But let's start today. I want to put this Jaylen Brown thing to bed. I really do, but I want to talk about a couple things. We saw Brad Stevens talk last week, and I've done a little bit of thinking, and this is my own opinion. I'm not going to say it's right. The decision to trade him at that time had to be made soon because Brown had that, and here's Brown trying to figure out what's going on and talking about being traded every day. He's saying what's going on. Now, the only way to make Brown happy if they don't trade him is to give him the extension. The extension date when they can offer it was coming up. You didn't want an unhappy Brown if you're going to not pay him that $70 million for the next couple of years. So Boston had to make a decision. Now, why Paul George? And a lot of people are very, just like myself, wait a minute, you could have gotten more for Brown. Probably could. Paul George is an interesting player. He was a real good player in his day. He's not good. He played well in the playoffs, shot over 50% from three against Boston. But Paul George got a 2-year contract, 1 year plus an option, which I'm sure he'll take. Brown had 3 years left. Well, I think Brad Stevens figured, okay, I got him for this year. Now, I can probably find a team and ship him out after the year. And maybe I have to attach a draft pick, which is fine, because now you've opened up $50, $60 million in your cap. If you kept Brown, and I've said this, if you kept Brown, first of all, the idea being, as I just mentioned, you had to make a decision on the long term, and I don't know if they want to do that. He's not a $70 million player, although he's getting paid a lot of money now. He's around 60. But if you kept Brown, that was the problem. So you couldn't really do it, and you had to make a move quickly. George, maybe they could have gotten more, but George fulfills something where they can deal him and open up money in their cap. Or they can keep him for 2 years and open up money, and you can go out and spend that money in ways that can break it down. Now, my belief about basketball in the future of the NBA, I believe the CBA is going to, unless they change it, is going to be here for a couple more years with that second apron, dreaded second apron. The future of basketball will make it where younger players are more valued. You saw the Cavaliers have just signed Donovan Mitchell to an extension. He'll be 34, 35, making a lot of money. Now, what does that mean? If you think about it, you're tying up so much money in your cap. If you sign another guy for a lot of money, you don't have much money to spend on a team. And I don't think Donovan Mitchell at 34, it's diminishing returns. I really believe the NBA is becoming a league where it's young and young talent, and they don't get paid as much as a 30-year-old. Remember, best ability to have is availability. Do you think Donovan Mitchell at 34 will be playing as many games a year as he does now? Look at people like Paul George. Look at Giannis. They don't play as much because they get hurt a lot more easily. So those are thoughts. Now let's switch over and let's talk about the Summer League for a little bit. I saw both games. Summer League is sloppy because you're used to NBA basketball, and these guys are better in the NBA. You see a couple guys sprinkled in that play some NBA, but really don't get a great deal of time in the NBA. And we'll talk about the individuals. The thing I always look at, I'm not looking at a team. I'm looking at a player on a team who can dominate in the summer, because then I start thinking they might be able to fit in. Now, there's also roles, and Ugo fits a role. And we'll talk about him in a second. But there's also roles for players. But you need somebody that has got that confidence and ability to take charge in the summer. And that's where I want to talk about a couple players that I think have futures with the Celtics. First one I'm going to talk about is Ugo. Ugo's got to realize he can't force things in the summer. He's forcing the game. Let the game come to him and make plays. He's trying to make a play out of nothing, and he's doing some things that aren't sensible. He's turning the ball over defensively. He doesn't look as good. He's getting beat. He's fouling. He's just not right. And I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. He's got to calm down. Remember, Boston's got a lot in belief that Ugo will become a real good player. He needs to get better offensively, and I'm starting to believe he will after watching him. Though he didn't shoot well in these games, I just think it's there, and it will come. And if that comes, you got a real good player on your potential all-star type player. So I kind of like Ugo. I know he's not played great, but I like him. Amari Williams, very interesting, and I've watched him, and he does things that are tremendous. And then he does stupid things like throw the ball away or just miss a pass or just a bad shot. He doesn't look like a great shooter, but he's got potential. I really believe this year is a make or break for Amari. He's got to eliminate all the silly mistakes and begin to pick up his game. Defensively, he's got a knack for blocking shots. Very important in the league, and he could become a rim protector. But there's so many little things. He's one of them guys the Celtics might give up on 2 or 3 years after he becomes an NBA solid player. But being the Celtics or any team, you got to make decisions. You can't keep him as a two-way player for forever. So that's an interesting thing. Senek, or whatever way you want to say it, he's got potential. It's going to take time, though. You can't expect him to jump in and be good. One thing I loved, he hit that three at the buzzer in the first game against Toronto. When you look at athletes and you like people who have that clutch gene, that's clutch. So you hope that he builds off that. He's also a presence under the basket. He can defend, and he's not shy about shooting. So he could probably play the 4 or the 5, and he could be a decent player in a year or two. Body needs to get stronger, and he's just got to play, and probably will get his time in the G League, and will get a chance to improve. Now, Mr. Mitchell, who played very well yesterday, he is a fascinating player. What a good athlete. What a good athlete. And yesterday he shot 2 for 5 from 3. They said the knock was he can't shoot. He doesn't always look for his shot, likes to pass. He's lefty. He can play, and he can defend, and he's a game changer defensively, makes big steals, makes plays. I think there's a future. It might not be this year, but there's a future here. And that two-way thing might serve him good because he will play a lot and he will develop. His shooting didn't look as bad as they made him out to be. So if that comes, you got a real player that you found. You got to hope. It might not be now, but there's a future. Mr. Tanji, what a good shooter. Reminds me of Peterson, the guy they had a couple years ago. He's got to finish off his game. He's got to complete the game, meaning he's got to defend. Although he didn't do a bad job defensively yesterday, he's also got to be able to play off the dribble and do different things besides just look for the 3. If he does, he can help. He's a two-way guy, and he will be okay. Give him a year of development. You never know. The last one I wanted to talk about is Uzoh. He's been playing point guard. Not a bad player. Might have a future. Another one that could end up with a two-way. The Celtics have a two-way to give out. He could be the final two-way player, and he could be a helper to the Celtics down the road. I don't think so, but I think he's got a future in the NBA. Maybe at the end of a bench, but I think he's got a future at the NBA. Now, let me just look at this. For next year, the only person I believe that can help him that we're seeing in the Summer League is Ugo. In the future, I believe if Amari Williams could fix the mistakes, he probably could be, but I don't know if it'll be with the Celtics because I think it takes time. Mr. Senek, I think he can be a player for the Celtics in a year or two. Don't forget, he was a first-round pick. Difference in contracts. Amari Williams, a second-round pick, would have a different contract than a first-rounder. So we give him more time to develop. Tanji, the jury's out. I don't know if he could. Uzoh, the jury's out. I think he could be the back end of a bench, but we'll see. Mitchell, he could be very good. Very good, meaning a solid player in the NBA. And that could be nice. Last one is Ugo. Ugo's going to get time next year. We're going to find out if he's ready. And if he is, look out, because he could take off. And if he's ready, means he can shoot. He can change a game. And by the way, check his plus minus. It's always outstanding. And it tells you about his ability to change games. You gotta, Ugo. You gotta hope that he just continues to improve. That's it. I'll be back again next week to talk more Celtic basketball, more about the Summer League, and anything else. If anything comes along, you can tune in and find me, and I'll be giving you some rundowns. Thanks again. See you next week. Take care.